All right, today we're going way, way back. We're digging deep into the history of North Africa, but we're looking past the usual suspects, the famous empires, to find the story of the people who were there first. We're talking about an unbroken thread that stretches all the way back to the dawn of civilization. Just listen to that one line. It's incredible, right? It just sets the stage for something epic. It hints at a story that's older than what we usually think of as ancient. And it's a story about a people who weren't defined by who they conquered, but by this powerful core idea, freedom. So who exactly are these people? To figure that out, we have to peel back thousands and thousands of years of history, layer by layer, to get to the region's true original roots. Okay, so our journey really starts by trying to solve the riddle right there in that opening quote. Who are these free people, and what does that name really, truly mean? Well, the people we're talking about are the Amazigh, or if you're talking about them in the plural, the Amazighen. Now, this is the name they call themselves. You might have heard the word Berber before, but that's a name that came from outside their culture. Amazigh, that's the name that comes from within. And this is where it gets really profound. Amazigh literally translates to free people. Just think about that for a second. It's not just some label for a group. It's their entire philosophy, baked right into their name. A declaration of who they are that's guided them for millennia. So if that's who they are, where have these free people been living all these centuries? Well, the answer isn't some small village or valley. It's a vast, diverse territory they call home. And look, this is not a tiny little patch of land. We're talking about a homeland, which they call Tamazgah, that stretches across the entire breadth of North Africa. I mean, from the Atlantic coast of Morocco, over the mountains and deserts of Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya, all the way to the Siwa oasis in Egypt, and even down into countries like Mali and Niger. It's an immense area they've lived in continuously forever. And this is where we get to the heart of it. The story of the Amazigh isn't just old, it's one of the deepest, most continuous cultural histories on the entire planet. Honestly, you could call it maximum history. Just look at this timeline. It really puts things into perspective. The Amazigh story starts more than 10,000 years ago. They were there when the Phoenicians showed up. They lived through the Roman conquest, the huge expansion of Arab caliphates, Ottoman rule. All these massive empires rose and fell, but the Amazighen, they were still there. So here's the bottom line. Modern science, from archaeology to genetics, confirms it. The Amazighen are the direct descendants of the people who have lived in this region for over 10,000 years. They aren't just an ancient culture. They are the foundational culture of North Africa, period. So that brings up a huge question, right? How does a culture survive all of that? How do you outlast so many powerful empires? How does your identity make it through wave after wave of conquest and change? Well, the answer lies in a few very strong pillars of their identity. It wasn't just one thing, it was their whole cultural toolkit. First, their language, Tamazight, is this living, breathing link to their ancient past. They have their own unique script, Tafina, which has ancient roots. You can see their identity literally woven into textiles and marked in traditional tattoos and jewelry. And this is so important. Their deep connection to the land, hiding away in remote mountains or spreading out across the vast desert, basically gave them a cultural fortress that kept their traditions alive when empires came knocking. But hey, this isn't just some dusty history lesson. This story doesn't end in the past. That Amazigh thread, it was never broken, and their legacy is absolutely alive and kicking in the 21st century. What's amazing is that today's Amazighen are literally bridging millennia. You've got communities that still practice traditional farming and herding, living by ancient customs, but you've also got millions living and working in bustling modern cities. And for all of them, there's this huge focus on a cultural renaissance, this really passionate, active movement to preserve their language and heritage for the next generation. And let's be clear, we're not talking about a small, isolated group. There are more than 40 million Amazigh people today, all across North Africa and in communities all over the world. That makes their culture one of the most significant and vibrant indigenous cultures on the globe. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures their incredible journey. Generations came and went, entire empires rose and crumbled into dust, but that core identity of the Amazigh people, the free people, it survived. It's just an absolutely extraordinary story of resilience. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. For more than 10,000 years, the Amazigh have defined themselves by this single powerful idea.
It really makes you stop and think. In our own complicated world, what does it truly mean to be a free person?